How you going? I'm Johnny from Poor Choice Home Brewing, and if you ever wondered why, this is the industry standard. Safe Ale US05 for $6 for 11 grams, and not this instant dried yeast, Whole Foods, that was $4.80. Well, I've seen a lot of people ask that on Facebook, and not really many people give an educated or informed answer. So this sounded like a pretty good poor choice, just for me. So let's see how we went anyway. Grain bill for this was 6.9 kilograms of Marris otter. Okay, 23 grams, first edition of Citra. I'll be back to that later. And a Delta Flock tablet with 15 minutes to go. 10-minute 34 gram edition. Well, it turned out 48 minute, 5-minute edition. 48 gram, 5-minute edition. Yes, Johnny of the past, that was a 5-minute edition of 46 grams of Citra. You know what, I'll worry over this idea. I hate this thing. And if we look inside that thing earlier, we'll actually see that the wort inside it was not boiling, although all around it was, and it wasn't really mixing in a way that I liked. Which is why I do this, to get rid of all the hops in there. That might have thrown a few things out. I hate this thing here. But I'm all about learning new skills. And look, to crack the edge, we'll use that. And filleting out. And that was a 33 gram, 30-minute whirlpool edition. And later on this will get hopped at 2 days with 33 grams. And because I don't want to waste water, I got nothing against hot cubing. And a day or two later, I'll let it's cooled down, ready for the yeast to be pitched. And just so I can get the sediments off the bottom, I'll take the first little bit off. I'll also do a gravity reading And this original gravity came out at, wait for it, just wait, let's watch this rise. Look how high up that hydrometer went. Starting gravity of 1.060. That is very nicely aerated, works. One packet of US05. 2 packets of US05. And I have no idea how much of this yeast I added. Possibly too much. I have since kept it down to calculator, and this might get revisited later. This is how I like to aerate the wort and mix the yeast in. Into my fermentation fridge for some nice temperature controlled fermenting. Oh, look at that. 1 hour later and the pizza yeast is bubbling. US05 not so much. I don't know if this is a good start or not. And look at that, 24 hours later, it's almost like the pizza yeast is, bread yeast, whatever, it's almost stopped and the US05's going strong. So, there's one little difference. Okay, now we're done. We can look at a few other little things where bread yeast would be different to the US05. The final gravity. On this, the US05, it came out at 1.010, giving me an alcoholic capacity, alcohol content of 6.56%. And the bread yeast came out at 1.005, giving me an alcohol content of 7.22%. So at the moment, the bread yeast is winning. Then we've also got the fermentation time. As we saw in the video, at a couple of hours, the bread yeast was already fermenting and the bubbler was going. And at 24 hours, the bubbler had basically stopped. And for the rest of the 13 days, there wasn't much going on. And the US05 was kept going and going and going, and yeah, he kept going until basically the last day. But the flavouring, so I can't smell anything. It is definitely citrusy, which is good because it's Citra, but this resembles blood orange, and it is quite nice. Oh, here's another difference. Look at that. US05, bread yeast, there is head retention on the US05, not so much on the bread yeast. It might actually work as a hop blocker as well, I guess you'd say. There's less of the citrusy flavour in this one. And I know when I first tried it at the 2-week mark, it tasted doughy, which is not really one of the characteristics we're looking for in beer. But dough flavour has gone, which is good. Conditioning in the bottle for 6 weeks, or it did need additional conditioning. So the final answer is, should I use my bread yeast? Or should I use the US05? I'm going to say the US05, simply because it's a better flavour, based on that alone. However, if you're home brewing to save money, you'll definitely save money with some with the bread yeast. You'll also get a higher alcohol content, which, face it, these are some things that people want. A much quicker fermentation time. However, let's just say it this way, it's a quicker fermentation time, but a longer conditioning time. You're adults, you can do what you want. Either way, I'm Johnny. If you've enjoyed this video, please click like. If you'd like to get notified, please subscribe and ring the bell. If you have a good idea for a pour choice, please write it down in the comments. But I'm Johnny, and sometimes you just learn more from pour choices. Enjoy.